This is a song that I wrote about 20 minutes ago for you guys.
Yeah, we paid a lot for it, so...
Oh, it's Wednesday night. I'm just hanging out with my 2.5 Oyajis. Oh, my 2.5 Oyajis.
I would be interested in hearing your thoughts on this. I don't have any data to back it up, but I understand there's an old stereotype of Japanese wives being submissive.
Wow.
In my experience. Not in my experience.
Well, here is the thing, and this is why there are so many international marriages and so many international marriages that fail. There are two stereotypes going.
I know what you're going to say, but I'm going to let you say it, and then I'll agree.
Yeah. So first of all, there's a stereotype that Japanese have of Western men. We are all the knights, the chivalrous knights on horses, steeds who lay out jackets over muddy puddles for women to step over.
Pull the chair out.
Western men are the best, nicest, most gentle men for women ever. And as a result, women who kind of are looking for guys who will do everything for them quite often go for foreign guys. They'll just have an idea of any foreign guy and they'll go out to places where they can meet foreign guys. And in those places where they meet foreign guys who have this idea that Japanese girls are going to do anything for them.
Get a beer for them, they'll give them a massage, they're just so submissive.
And they do that. So long as they're dating and you don't get married, they do that. But you have to understand, Japan is not... the patriarchal culture image, the samurai man and a submissive wife, that's a dream of, basically browbeaten Japanese men. They like to, they get to pretend that that's the reality in exchange for basically not having any power at home. And when I say they don't have power at home, I mean foreign guys still get it relatively good in the sense that for Japanese couples, the wives control the husband's salary. They actually give the husband pocket money. They control, everything. They completely dominate the house.
What about you? Do you mind talking about that? Do you give your money over to your wife? I do.
My wife says that she would if she had accounting discipline.
Oh, yeah?
So she doesn't. But no. But in the idea of submissive, absolutely not. But the thing is that there is this kind of culture thing that you behave in a certain way when you're dating. And the idea is there's a cultural kind of acceptance that can change upon marriage. I mean, this happens everywhere. But I think it's maybe a little bit, it's quite dramatic, that people will act probably more, more favorably when they're dating, and that'll switch very quickly when you move in together. It's something which I've observed multiple times.
When you move in together or when you get married?
Well...
You moved in together?
We moved in together first, and one thing about that as well is that so many people in Japan in big cities live on their own, or they live with their parents.
Right.
And they don't flat together like people do in America, shared dorms, or in New Zealand or Australia. So Japanese people generally are used to living with people outside of their family before they move in with their spouse or to-be spouse.
Traditionally.
Yeah. So I find for a lot of people, myself included, that transition of moving in with someone when you've been used to having a completely self-centered lifestyle is pretty hard for people. That's one trauma. And then when you marry, of course, as well, that's always... But there is a kind of an acceptance that women are supposed to basically control everything about the home life.
Yes.
And so, that's the stereotype about women being submissive is absolutely propaganda. It's false propaganda. And it catches a lot of people out in both directions, and it leads to these, not always, but there's a lot of international marriages that, on both sides just kind of fools who kind of get into with completely different expectations.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not always, though. Of course.
I don't think we've talked about this, but I think that's exactly my opinion. Not everybody. A lot of men come into those relationships thinking they're going to get this kind of woman, and a lot of Japanese women come into this relationship thinking they're going to get the gallant, gentlemanly man, and And
the irony is,
you can't have your cake and eat it too. It's like
the irony is that we're talking about Gaijin guys and Japanese girls, and very stereotypically and horribly inappropriately, but at the same time, while we're continuing being horrible and inappropriate, you know, it's the Japanese girls who want to be treated like princesses, and the Japanese guys who want to slave, the Gaijin guys who want a slave wife,
Yes.
are hooking up as couples and marrying. I mean, it's kind of a recipe for disaster where it happens, where people don't figure out beforehand what the actual, you know, what's actually going on. You know, just people get married quickly in these kind of circumstances. They can get married in a haze of ideals and propaganda that they don't, you know, it's a good idea to figure out a little bit about the culture that you're joining before you dive in and sign the papers. But that said, I mean, yeah, so long as you understand the expectations and you actually communicate properly with the other person, I mean, there are fantastic, great international marriages, you know, and the marriage rates are very high, but you know, you just have to not get caught out by that kind of stereotype.